I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old tech mogul. As a gay black man, I'd faced rejection since coming out at 18, my family's cold shoulders fueling my drive to create Horizon Airlines, a billion-dollar venture. Today's flight to New York wasn't just a trip, it was a mission to launch an in-flight charity auction for LGBTQ+ youth, a secret I kept close. But as I boarded, a storm brewed, sparked by a flight attendant's prejudice, setting the stage for a drama that would shake the skies. The cabin buzzed with passengers, their designer luggage rolling behind them, champagne flutes clinking under soft jazz. I settled into my seat in the elite section, my briefcase tucked neatly, my calm demeanor masking the weight of my role. Ethan Caldwell, the lead flight attendant, stood at the entrance, his crisp uniform and slick blonde hair exuding control. At 40, his sharp blue eyes scanned passengers, his smile warm for some, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, a wealthy couple in their 60s, received a beaming welcome back, but cold for others. When he reached me, his greeting was curt, "Good afternoon," his tone clipped, his gaze lingering on my dark skin and unflashy attire, a silent judgment. I noticed the shift, my years of facing bias sharpening my senses, but I kept my expression neutral, nodding politely. Behind me, the Carters chatted, Mrs. Carter clutching a beaded purse, Mr. Carter flipping through a Wall Street Journal, their ease a contrast to Ethan's chill. Across the aisle, Liam Harper, a 35-year-old journalist in a casual blazer, caught my eye, his hazel gaze warm, his smile subtle but kind. I sensed an ally, but Ethan's presence loomed, his steps purposeful as he approached me, his lips a thin line. "Excuse me, sir," Ethan said, his voice polite but laced with condescension, loud enough for nearby passengers to turn. "I believe you're in the wrong section." The cabin hushed, eyes darting to us, the Carters pausing, Liam frowning. My pulse quickened, but I met Ethan's gaze, steady and unyielding. "This is my seat," I said, my tone even, handing him my boarding pass. "You might want to check your list." Ethan's smile tightened, his irritation flickering as he glanced at the pass, then back at me. "I don't think so," he said, his voice sharper. "This section's for elite passengers." The word elite dripped with assumption, and I felt the weight of every stare. Victor Lang, a nosy socialite with a Rolex, leaned forward, his phone discreetly raised. Liam's frown deepened, his pen tapping his notebook. "Double check, please," I said, my voice firm, a quiet strength honed from years of proving myself. Ethan's eyebrows arched, his face flushing. "I know who belongs here," he snapped, drawing gasps. "Move to the back, or I'll call security." The threat hung heavy, the cabin crackling with tension, passengers whispering. Victor muttered, "Why is he causing trouble?" while Liam leaned forward, his voice calm but pointed. "Maybe check the list before escalating," he said, his eyes on Ethan, a spark of defiance. I held Ethan's gaze, my heart pounding, but my resolve ironclad. "Call whoever you need," I said softly, "but I'm staying." Ethan faltered, his confidence shaken, but he waved to a junior attendant, Tyler, a nervous 20-something. "Tyler, escort him back," he ordered, but Tyler hesitated, glancing at me, then the passenger list. "Sir, Tyler began, but Ethan cut him off, his glare icy. "Now!" The Carters exchanged looks, Mrs. Carter clutching her purse, Mr. Carter shaking his head. Liam stood, his blazer rustling, his voice firm. "This is uncalled for," he said, and I caught his gaze, a warmth that steadied me, a hint of something more. I leaned back, my phone in hand, typing a discreet message to my team via a private app, a move Ethan didn't notice. "You're making a mistake," I said, my voice low, carrying a weight that made Ethan pause. He scoffed, turning away, but his steps were less certain, the cabin's eyes on us. Victor's phone was out, filming, the socialites smirk a warning of trouble brewing. Liam's pen scratched, his notebook open, and I sensed a story unfolding, one where I held the pen. That night, as the jet hummed toward takeoff, Miami's skyline fading below, I thought of my coming out. My father's rejection, my mother's silence, the pain that forged my empire. This flight was more than a journey. It was a test, and Ethan's prejudice was a spark in a powder keg. The charity auction, my secret plan, waited, but so did a reckoning. The skies loomed, a stage for a drama that would reveal my truth, and I braced for the storm, knowing it would change everything. The Miami skyline faded below as the private jet climbed into the twilight, its opulent cabin a gilded cage where prejudice simmered beneath the hum of wealth. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old tech billionaire, my tailor navy suit a quiet mask for the empire I'd built with Horizon Airlines. As a gay black man, I'd faced rejection since coming out at 18, turning pain into power, but today's flight to New York was a battlefield. Ethan Caldwell, the 40-year-old flight attendant with a slick blonde demeanor, had challenged my seat, his condescension a spark in the cabin's powder keg. His cold demand to move had drawn every eye, and though I'd held my ground, the tension was a live wire, ready to ignite a drama that would shake this San Diego-bound jet to its core. The cabin buzzed with whispers, passengers stealing glances as soft jazz played, a thin veil over the unease. Ethan moved through the aisle, his crisp uniform a facade of control, his smile warm for Mr. and Mrs. Carter, the affluent couple sipping champagne, but absent for me. I sat in my elite section seat, my briefcase at my feet, my phone discreetly open to my private app, tracking messages from my team about the in-flight charity auction for LGBTQ+ youth, a secret I guarded. Liam Harper, the 35-year-old journalist across the aisle, caught my eye, his hazel gaze steady, his notebook scribbled with notes. His subtle defense earlier, check the list, had stirred a spark, his easy smile hinting at something more, a warmth I hadn't expected. Ethan's hostility escalated as he served drinks, deliberately bypassing me, his tray of sparkling water glinting under the cabin lights. I signaled for coffee, my voice calm. "Excuse me, could I get a cup?" Ethan paused, his blue eyes narrowing, his smile tight. "I'll get to you," he said curtly, moving to Victor Lang, the nosy socialite with a Rolex, who received a beaming. "Anything else, sir?" The Carters got refills, Mrs. Carter's beaded purse catching the light, Mr. Carter nodding over his Wall Street Journal. Liam frowned, his pen tapping, and leaned over. "Need a coffee?" he asked, his tone light, but his eyes sharp, offering me his own cup. "I'm good," I said, smiling, his gesture a quiet rebellion that made my pulse quicken. The air thickened when Ethan returned, his steps deliberate, his gaze fixed on me. "Sir, I need you to move to the back," he said, louder now, drawing gasps. "This section's reserved." The cabin stilled, Victor's phone discreetly filming, the Carters pausing, Liam's jaw tightening. I leaned back, my voice steady. "Check your passenger list," I said, my eyes locking onto his, a challenge he couldn't ignore. Ethan's face flushed, his irritation boiling. "I don't need to," he snapped. "I know who belongs here." The words were a slap, his prejudice bare, and whispers rippled. Victor muttering, "He's causing trouble," Liam countering, "This is ridiculous." The drama surged when Tyler, the junior attendant, approached, clutching a tablet, his voice trembling. "Mr. Caldwell, the list," he began, but Ethan cut him off, his glare icy. "Stay out of it, Tyler." I caught Tyler's glance, his hesitation a crack in Ethan's armor, and sensed a hack. My team had flagged a breach in the passenger database, listing me as a consultant, a deliberate error. "You might regret this," I said softly, my tone carrying a weight that made Ethan pause, his confidence flickering. Liam's phone buzzed, his fingers flying as he live tweeted. "Flight attendant targets passenger unfairly. Hashtag justice on board." The thread went viral, hashtags spreading, amplifying the cabin's tension. Ethan's hostility peaked during a pre-auction announcement, the captain's voice crackling over the intercom about the charity event. I stood to adjust my briefcase, and Ethan, passing with a tray, muttered to a colleague, loud enough for me to hear, "He doesn't belong in this crowd." The The words stung, a reminder of my family's rejection, but I held my composure, my years of resilience a shield. Liam overheard, his voice sharp. "That's unprofessional," he said, standing, his blazer rustling, drawing Victor's camera and the Carter's frowns. Ethan spun, his face red. "Mind your business," he snapped, but Liam didn't back down, his hazel eyes blazing. "You're making this everyone's business." The cabin crackled, passengers shifting, Victor's live stream capturing the clash, comments flooding. "This is wild. Who's that guy?" I typed a message on my app, alerting my team to the hack, suspecting Ethan's rival colleague, Julian Reed, a passenger with a grudge against me for outbidding his firm. "You're escalating this unnecessarily," I said to Ethan, my voice low, a warning he ignored. "Move, or I'll make you," he said, his hand twitching, a threat barely restrained. Tyler stepped forward, tablet in hand. "Sir, the list's wrong," he whispered, but Ethan waved him off, his arrogance a fuse lit and burning. Liam's tweet surged, media outlets picking it up, and I felt the storm brewing. At a South Beach gala years ago, I'd faced similar bias, a rival sneering at my place, but I'd risen, my empire proof of my worth. Now, Ethan's prejudice was a mirror, reflecting a world I fought to change. I sketched in my mind, a jet soaring above clouds, a symbol of my vision, and knew this flight was a crucible. Dylan's warmth, his hand brushing mine as he passed me a napkin, was a spark in the dark, a hint of a connection I couldn't explore yet. The skies loomed, a stage for a reckoning, and I braced for the clash, knowing my truth would light the way. The private jet soared above the clouds, its luxurious cabin a glittering prison where prejudice crackled like static beneath the hum of wealth. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old tech billionaire, my Taylor Navy suit a quiet shield for the empire I'd built with Horizon Airlines. As a gay black man, I'd turned rejection into resilience, but this Miami to New York flight was a crucible. Ethan Caldwell, the 40-year-old flight attendant with slick blonde hair and a sneer, had targeted me with cold condescension, his demand to move seats and muttered slurs igniting a firestorm. A hacked passenger list, labeling me a consultant, had fueled his arrogance, and now, as the in-flight charity auction began, a single act, his hand striking my face, would shatter the cabin's facade, plunging us into a drama that would shake the skies over Miami. The cabin glowed under soft lights, passengers sipping champagne as the captain announced the auction for an LGBTQ plus youth shelter, my secret project to fund safe spaces. I adjusted my tie, my phone buzzing with app updates from my team, tracking the hack. Ethan moved through the aisle, his crisp uniform a mask, his smile reserved for Mr. and Mrs. Carter, the affluent couple, and Victor Lang, the socialite filming everything. Liam Harper, the 35-year-old journalist across the aisle, caught my eye, his hazel gaze warm, his live tweet thread, #JusticeOnBoard, going viral with thousands of likes. His defense earlier, offering me coffee, had stirred a spark, his easy smile a beacon in the tension. Ethan's hostility surged as the auction started, my presence a thorn in his side. I raised a paddle for a signed art piece, my bid calm but firm, drawing Victor's camera and the Carter's nods. Ethan, serving drinks, tripped over my briefcase, wine splashing onto my suit, the red stain a shock against navy. "Watch your stuff?" he snapped, his voice loud, drawing gasps. I stood, brushing at the stain, my voice steady. "You walked into it," I said, meeting his blue eyes, now blazing with rage. The cabin stilled, passengers frozen, Liam's pen pausing, Victor's phone filming. Ethan's face twisted, his frustration boiling over. "You don't belong here," he hissed, stepping closer, his tray clattering to the floor. Before I could respond, his hand swung, slapping my cheek with a sharp crack that echoed like thunder. Gasps rippled through the cabin, Mrs. Carter clutching her purse, Mr. Carter standing, Liam leaping to his feet. "What the hell?" Liam shouted, his blazer rustling, his eyes blazing. Victor's live stream exploded, comments flooding. Did he just hit him? Hashtag Horizon Airline Scandal. My cheek stung, but I held my ground, my gaze locking onto Ethan's, calm but unyielding. You've made a grave mistake, I said softly, my voice cutting through the chaos, a warning that chilled the air. Ethan faltered, his arrogance cracking, but he doubled down, pointing a trembling finger. You're causing a scene, he barked, but the passengers weren't with him. Liam stepped forward, his voice firm. You assaulted him, he said, his phone out, recording. Tyler, the junior attendant, clutched his tablet, his voice shaking. Mr. Caldwell, stop, he pleaded, but Ethan waved him off, his face red. Victor's stream hit thousands of views, hashtags trending, while Julian Reed, a rival passenger with a grudge, smirked, muttering to a colleague, he had it coming. I sensed Julian's hand in the hack, his firm once outbid by mine, and typed a message on my app, alerting my team to investigate. The co-pilot emerged, his face tense, having received my app alert. Mr. Caldwell, step back, he ordered, but Ethan scoffed, his voice rising. He's disrupting the flight. I remained seated, my composure a shield, my years of facing bias, my family's rejection, corporate snubs, stealing me. You'll regret this, I said, my tone deliberate, and Liam's gaze met mine. A mix of admiration and concern, his hand brushing my arm, a fleeting warmth that sent my pulse racing. You okay? He whispered, and I nodded, his touch a spark in the storm. The auction paused, passengers debating, some siding with Ethan. He shouldn't be here. Others with me, the Carters murmuring. That was uncalled for. Victor's stream fueled the fire, comments splitting. Fire that attendant. Who's that guy? I thought at a South Beach rally years ago, where I'd spoken for equality, my voice drowned by hecklers, yet I'd persisted. Now, Ethan's slap was a mirror, reflecting a world I fought to change, and Liam's loyalty was a new chapter, his hazel eyes a promise I couldn't yet name. Ethan's rage faltered as the co-pilot signaled the captain, my app message triggering a response. Tyler, clutching the hacked list, whispered, It's wrong, sir, but Ethan ignored him, his hands trembling. Julian's smirk grew, his phone out, texting, and I knew he was stoking the scandal, his grudge a shadow over the flight. Liam's thread surged, media outlets tagging Horizon Airlines, and I felt the storm cresting. My sketchbook, a mental refuge, held a new image. Two hands clasped above clouds, Marcus and Liam, a vision of defiance. The cabin loomed, a stage for a reckoning, and I braced for the truth to break, knowing it would light the skies or burn us all. The private jet sliced through the night sky, its opulent cabin a crucible where prejudice had erupted into violence, leaving the air crackling with shock. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old tech billionaire, my Navy suit stained with wine, my cheeks stinging from Ethan Caldwell's slap. As a gay black man, I'd built Horizon Airlines from the ashes of rejection, but this Miami to New York flight had become a battlefield. Ethan, the 40-year-old flight attendant, had targeted me with condescension, fueled by a hacked passenger list, and his assault had pushed the scandal to a breaking point. Liam Harper's defense and Victor Lang's viral livestream had set the stage for a reckoning, and now, as the cabin held its breath, my true identity would flip the power dynamic, igniting a drama that would echo from Miami's tarmac to the world. The cabin was a frozen tableau, passengers gaping, champagne forgotten, the soft jazz drowned by gasps. Ethan stood, his blonde hair disheveled, his blue eyes wide with a mix of defiance and fear, the slap's echo lingering. Liam, the 35-year-old journalist, was on his feet, his hazel gaze blazing, his phone recording, his live tweet thread, hashtag justice on board, exploding with thousands of retweets. You crossed the line, Liam said, his voice sharp, his hand brushing my arm, a warm spark that steadied me. Victor Lang, the socialite, streamed to millions, his Rolex glinting, comments flooding. He hit him. Who is this guy? Mr. and Mrs. Carter stared, Mrs. Carter clutching her purse, Mr. Carter's newspaper crumpled, while Tyler, the junior attendant, clutched his tablet, his voice trembling. Mr. Caldwell, stop, he pleaded, but Ethan's sneer held, his arrogance a crumbling facade. I sat, my cheek throbbing, but my composure was a fortress honed by years of bias. My family's rejection at 18, corporate snubs, I'd turned into triumphs. You'll pay for this, I said softly, my voice ablade, cutting through Ethan's bravado. He scoffed, stepping closer, his hand twitching as if to strike again, but the co-pilot burst from the cockpit, his face pale, my app alert having reached the captain. Stand down, Caldwell, he ordered, his voice firm, and Ethan froze, his confidence shattering. I typed a final message on my app, summoning my team, knowing the truth was moments away. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom, a thunderclap in the silence. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation. The owner of Horizon Airlines is on board, Mr. Marcus Bennett. Gasps erupted, the cabin a storm of murmurs. Victor's stream surged, comments exploding. He's the owner? No way. The Carters gaped, Mrs. Carter whispering, my God. Mr. Carter nodding, impressed. Liam's eyes widened, his smile subtle but warm, a spark of admiration that sent my pulse racing. Ethan's face drained of color, his jaw dropping, his tray clattering to the floor. That's impossible, he stammered, his voice a whisper, but the co-pilot stepped forward, holding a corrected passenger list. No mistake, he said, pointing to my name. The cabin door opened, and two sharply dressed assistants boarded, their Miami tanned faces professional, their presence commanding. Mr. Bennett, one said, bowing slightly, everything's ready. Ethan staggered, his arrogance gone, while Julian Reed, the rival passenger with a grudge, paled, his phone slipping, his role in the hack now a ticking bomb. I stood, adjusting my stained suit, my 6-foot frame radiating authority. I'm Marcus Bennett, I said, my voice steady, sweeping the cabin. I own this airline, and this behavior is unacceptable. Ethan's mouth opened, no words coming, his earlier bravado a shadow. I didn't know, he choked, but I held up a hand, silencing him. You didn't know because you judged me by my skin and assumptions, I said, my tone sharp, cutting through the silence. You humiliated a passenger, assaulted me, and tarnished Horizon's name. Passengers nodded, the Carters clapping softly, Liam's gaze fierce with pride. Victor's stream hit millions, hashtags trending. Hashtag Horizon Justice, hashtag Marcus Bennett. The captain stepped forward, his voice firm. Mr. Caldwell, you're relieved of duty, effective immediately. Ethan's face crumpled, tears welling, but I wasn't done. You're fired, I said, my words a gavel, and you'll face legal consequences. Two police officers boarded, their badges glinting, and Ethan gasped, stepping back. Mr. Bennett, we've received your report, one said. Are you pressing charges? I nodded, my voice resolute. Yes, for assault. Handcuffs clicked, Ethan's sobs echoing as he was led away, his once commanding presence reduced to shame. Liam's hand found my shoulder, his touch warm, his voice low. You're incredible, he said, his hazel eyes locking onto mine, a spark that felt like a promise. I smiled, my heart fluttering, but Julian's glare caught my eye, his text to a tabloid. Exposed by Liam's quick research, revealing his hack. You're next, I said to Julian, my tone cold, and he shrank, his scheme unraveling. I addressed the passengers, my voice steady. This airline stands for respect. We'll ensure this never happens again. Applause erupted, Victor cheering, the Carters nodding, Tyler beaming with relief. A flashback stirred. My rise from a Miami tenement, coding late nights, my first million at 25, all driven by rejection. This moment, Ethan's downfall, was my triumph, a testament to resilience. Liam's gaze lingered, his notebook open, and I sensed a story unfolding, one where our paths might intertwine. The jets soared, Miami's lights a memory, and I knew the skies held more than a flight. They held a reckoning, a romance, a truth that would light the world or burn it down. The Miami dawn broke over the tarmac, its golden light a stark contrast to the storm that had erupted on the private jet, while my identity as Horizon Airlines' billionaire owner had turned prejudice into a public reckoning. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old gay black tech mogul. My Navy suit still wine-stained from Ethan Caldwell's assault, my cheek a faint reminder of his slap. The 40-year-old flight attendant's firing and arrest had shifted the power dynamic, but the scandal, fueled by Victor Lang's viral livestream and Liam Harper's #JusticeOnBoard tweets, had only begun. Liam, the 35-year-old journalist with hazel eyes and a steady heart, had stood by me, his touch a spark igniting something new. Now, as Miami buzzed with our story, a tabloid smear and a family ghost threatened our fragile bond, plunging us into a drama that would test our courage above the clouds. The jet had landed at a private Miami terminal, passengers dispersing, their whispers trailing like jet streams. I stood on the tarmac, my assistants briefing me on a press conference at the Fontainebleau Hotel, my team countering the hack passenger list that had mislabeled me. Liam lingered, his blazer rumpled, his notebook tucked away. "That was intense," he said, his smile warm, his hand brushing mine, a jolt that sent my pulse racing. "Coffee?" he asked, nodding toward South Beach, and I nodded, drawn to his quiet strength, a contrast to the chaos. "Let's go," I said, my voice soft, the Miami breeze carrying a promise I wasn't ready to name. As South Beach Cafe, waves crashing nearby, we sat under palm trees, the air thick with salt and possibility. Liam's hazel eyes caught the sunlight, his questions gentle but probing. "How do you stay so calm?" he asked, sipping an espresso, his pen tapping a napkin. I smiled, tracing the rim of my latte. "Years of proving myself," I said, my mind flashing to my coming out at 18. My father's rejection, my mother's silence, the pain that fueled my first million. "You?" I asked, and his gaze softened, his voice low. "Lost my brother to hate," he said, his fingers grazing mine, a spark that felt like fate. "I write to fight it." Our hands lingered, the moment electric, but a flash broke the spell. Paparazzi, their cameras snapping, photos of our romance hitting tabloids by noon. The drama surged when Julian Reed, the rival passenger with a grudge, leaked a false story to a Miami gossip rag, claiming I'd framed Ethan to dodge a lawsuit, twisting the slap into a conspiracy. The headline screamed, "Billionaire's revenge or cover-up?" Social media erupted, hashtags like #MarcusLies trending, Victor Lang's followers fueling the fire. I sat in my Miami penthouse, my phone buzzing with alerts, my team tracing Julian's source, a disgruntled airline employee, Carla, bitter over a promotion I denied. Liam texted, his thread debunking the story with evidence from the jet's cameras. But the damage was done, my reforms at Horizon under scrutiny. The stakes escalated when my father, Charles, called, his voice a ghost from a decade past. "Saw the news," he said, his tone gruff. "We need to talk." The words hit like a wave, his rejection and my coming out, calling my identity a choice still raw. He demanded a meeting at a Coconut Grove restaurant, and I agreed, dread mixing with hope, my heart torn between family and the fight ahead. Liam offered to join, his concern a warmth I craved, but I declined, needing to face this alone. "I'm here," he texted, and I clung to that, his loyalty a spark in the dark. At a Miami gala for my LGBTQ+ youth charity, the Fontainebleau's chandeliers glowed, drag queen Sasha Fierce performing to cheers, a nod to Miami's vibrant scene. I mingled, my suit fresh, my composure a shield, but Julian confronted me, his smirk venomous. "You can't bury the truth," he said, his phone out, texting Carla. Liam, covering the event, intervened, his voice sharp. "Your lies are done," he said, revealing Carla's confession, recorded by a colleague, proving Julian's hack. Guests gasped, phones filming, and I spoke, my voice steady. "Horizon stands for respect," I said, outing Julian's scheme, his face crumpling as security escorted him out, the crowd applauding. The victory was fleeting, as paparazzi photos of Liam and me fueled rumors. Billionaire's secret lover? The gala buzzed, Victor tweeting, love or PR stunt? I caught Liam's gaze across the room, his smile hesitant, and my heart ached, fear of public backlash clashing with desire. At the youth group, Alex, my mentor, urged me forward. Love's worth the fight, he said, and I sketched his words, hope flickering. My blog, Skyward Truth, launched that night, detailing the jet incident, gaining thousands of followers, comments cheering, Marcus is a hero. Love wins. That night, I stood on my penthouse balcony, Miami skyline glittering, my phone holding a new sketch, Liam's silhouette against South Beach waves. Charles's call loomed, Julian's lies lingered, and Liam's warmth was a riddle. The gala's triumph was a step, but the storm wasn't over. Dylan's love was my anchor, but could it weather the skies? The world watched, a stage for our drama, and I braced for the next act, knowing it would break us or bind us forever. The Miami skyline glittered below, a constellation of ambition and chaos, mirroring the storm that had erupted in my life since the private jet scandal. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old gay black billionaire, my empire, Horizon Airlines, shaken by Ethan Caldwell's assault and a tabloid smear orchestrated by Julian Reed. The 40-year-old flight attendant slap had been a spark, but my identity as the airline's owner had turned it into a firestorm, fueled by Victor Lang's viral live stream and Liam Harper's hashtag #JusticeOnBoard tweets. Liam, the 35-year-old journalist with hazel eyes and a heart that steadied me, had become more than an ally. His touch at the South Beach Cafe, a flame I couldn't ignore. Now, as Miami pulsed with our story, a hacked app, a family reunion, and a public reckoning threatened our love, plunging us into a drama that would either forge us or break us under the city's neon glow. The Fontainebleau Gala had been a triumph, Julian's lies exposed, but the scandal's ripples grew. That night, as Miami's stars blazed, my private app, a lifeline to my team, was hacked, leaking charity plans for my LGBTQ plus youth shelter to a rival firm. My penthouse buzzed with alerts, my team tracing the breach to Carla, Julian's disgruntled ally, her access revoked but damage done. Liam, covering the fallout, texted, found Carla's IP. Meet me at Perez Art Museum. I agreed, drawn to his resolve, his warmth a spark in the chaos. At the museum, its glass walls reflecting Biscayne Bay, I prepared a live-stream speech to counter the leak, my suit crisp, my heart racing. The event was electric, Miami's elite mingling under vibrant queer art. My own sketches, donated anonymously, hung beside local artists. Liam stood by, his blazer sharp, his notebook open, his gaze a quiet vow. You've got this, he said, his hand brushing mine, a jolt that sent my pulse soaring. As I took the stage, the crowd hushed, phones streaming, hashtags like hashtag Horizon Reform trending. Horizon stands for respect, I said, my voice steady, outing the hack. Carla and Julian tried to sabotage our mission, but we're stronger. Applause erupted, Liam's smile fierce, but a text from Julian flashed. You'll pay. My team spotted him on the rooftop, and Liam bolted, his journalist instincts kicking in, chasing a lead. The rooftop chase was a blur. Liam pursuing Julian through Miami's humid night, me following, the city's neon a kaleidoscope below. Julian, cornered by a skylight, sneered, his phone out, texting a tabloid. You're a fraud, he spat, but Liam tackled him, pinning his arm, my security team arriving. It's over, I said, my voice cold. Julian's phone revealing text to Carla, confirming the hack. Security detained him, the crowd below cheering as Liam's live feed captured it, comments flooding. Marcus is unstoppable. Hashtag love wins. Back on stage, I finished my speech, announcing a queer youth mentorship program, the crowd roaring, Liam's hazel eyes locking onto mine, a spark that felt like home. The drama deepened when my father, Charles, arrived at a Coconut Grove restaurant, his gray hair a reminder of our decade-long rift. I sat, my suit pressed, my heart a battlefield, Liam's text, "I'm here if you need me," a lifeline. Charles's voice was gruff, his eyes hesitant. "I saw the news," he said, his hands fidgeting. "I was wrong, Marcus. About you, about everything." His apology, raw and halting, cracked my armor, memories of his rejection at 18, calling my gay identity a sin, flooding back. "I want to try," he said, and I nodded, tears stinging, hope a fragile thread. "It's a start," I said, but a new rumor hit, a tabloid leak about my shady past, planted by Julian's allies, claiming I'd bribed my way to wealth. Liam's article, published that night, debunked the rumor, tracing it to a rival firm, his words fierce. "Marcus Bennett's empire is built on integrity." The piece went viral, media outlets praising my reforms, but the public scrutiny weighed heavy, paparazzi hounding our South Beach walks, photos captioning us lovers. At the LGBTQ+ youth group, Alex, my mentor, saw my hesitation. "You're scared," he said, his voice kind. "Love's a risk, but Liam's worth it." I sketched his words, my blog, Skyward Truth, gaining followers, comments cheering. "Marcus and Liam are goals. Fight for love." Liam opened up at a Wynwood Mural Festival, Miami street art glowing under dusk. "I hid my truth for years," he said, his voice soft, his hand grazing mine, a spark that burned. "Lost my brother to hate, but you're fearless." His vulnerability broke me, and I leaned closer, our shoulders brushing, the crowd fading. "I'm scared," I admitted, my voice trembling, "of losing this." His smile was a sunrise, his lips inches away. "You won't," he said, and I believed him, our hands entwining, a promise under Miami's neon. Julian's final move, a leaked email alleging I'd manipulated the jet incident, fizzled when my team released security footage. Ethan's slap clear, Carla's confession sealing their fate. At the museum, my art exhibit opened, sketches of Miami's skies symbolizing resilience, Liam's article framing me as a trailblazer. Charles attended, his nod a quiet bridge, and I felt the tide turning. Liam's touch, his voice, was my anchor, but the world watched, a new rumor about our staged romance looming. The skies held our truth, a stage for love and justice, and I braced for the final act, knowing it would define us. The Miami sun blazed over Biscayne Bay, its golden rays a mirror to the fire of resilience that had carried me through a storm that shook the skies. I was Marcus Bennett, a 38-year-old gay black billionaire, my empire, Horizon Airlines, tested by Ethan Caldwell's assault, Julian Reed's smear campaign, and a hacked app that threatened my LGBTQ+ youth charity. The jet incident, amplified by Victor Lang's live stream and Liam Harper's #JusticeOnBoard tweets, had made me a symbol of defiance, but it was Liam, the 35-year-old journalist with hazel eyes and a heart that anchored me, who turned my fight into a love worth risking everything for. Now, as Miami's Pride Festival loomed, we stood ready to claim our truth, our love a beacon through the chaos, in a drama that would light up the city's neon skies and echo beyond. The Pride event was a kaleidoscope, Miami's Hillcrest district alive with rainbow flags, music pulsing through Ocean Drive, drag queens sashaying under palm trees. I wore a white linen shirt, my 6-foot frame relaxed, but my heart racing, Liam beside me in a teal blazer, his hand brushing mine, a spark that sent shivers through me. "Ready?" he asked, his smile a sunrise, and I nodded, drawn to his warmth, our bond forged in the jet's crucible. The crowd roared, banners waving. Love is love. Horizon stands proud, a testament to my airline's reforms, sparked by Ethan's downfall. My blog, Skyward Truth, had rallied thousands, comments cheering. Marcus and Liam are icons. #Pride for all. We joined the march, our hands entwined, the Pacific breeze carrying salt and hope. Victor Lang, now an ally, live-streamed, his followers celebrating, while Mr. and Mrs. Carter, inspired by the jet incident, waved from the sidelines, their support a quiet victory. A new rumor. planted by Julian's lingering allies, claimed our romance was staged for PR, but we silenced it with a kiss under a pride float, lips meeting in a blaze of defiance, cameras flashing, the crowd erupting. "That's real," Liam whispered, his breath warm, cedar scent grounding me, and I laughed, my heart soaring, the world fading to just us. The drama peaked when Julian, out on bail, crashed the event, his sneer venomous, a megaphone in hand. "Bennett's a fraud," he shouted, alleging I'd bribed the co-pilot, a last-ditch lie. The crowd booed, but tension crackled, phones filming, until Liam stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Your lies are done," he said, playing Carla's recorded confession, Julian's hack exposed, on a jumbotron. The crowd roared, security dragging Julian away, his defeat final, my team confirming his legal consequences. "You're unstoppable," Liam said, his hazel eyes blazing, and I pulled him close, our embrace a promise under Miami stars. An epilogue unfolded. A year later, at 39, I ran Horizon with new policies, every flight a testament to respect, my mentorship program thriving, queer youth sketching their dreams in Miami safe houses. Liam, 36, published a best-selling book on the scandal, his journalism a beacon, and we shared a Coconut Grove loft, waves lapping outside, our love a steady flame. One evening in Miami podcast, Voices of Change, we shared our story, my memoir excerpt aired, Love Taught Me to Fight, Not Hide. The episode trended, comments flooding. Marcus and Liam are goals. Respect wins. My father, Charles, visited, his apology now a bridge, our dinners tentative but healing. At a South Beach art fair, my sketches, jets soaring, hands clasped, sold out, Liam's article framing me as a visionary. "You changed me," he said, his hand in mine, a ring glinting. A surprise proposal at Pride, my yes, a vow under fireworks. Ethan faced jail time, Julian's firm collapsed, and Carla apologized, her redemption a footnote. My reforms, mandatory bias training, passenger respect protocols, set a global standard, Horizon's jets a symbol of change. The Pacific roared, a song of triumph, and I knew our love was a legacy, a flame that would burn through any storm. The Pride March lingered in my mind, that kiss a turning point, Miami's neon a canvas for our truth. We'd faced prejudice, lies, and fear, but love, raw, defiant, had won. Liam's touch, his voice, was my sky, and I'd soar with him, no matter the turbulence. The world watched, our story a beacon, and I braced for the future, knowing it was ours to shape.